While we're still arguing about whether there's life after death, can we add another question to the cart? Is there life after democracy? What sort of life will it be? By democracy, I don't mean democracy as an ideal or an aspiration. I mean the working model, Western liberal democracy and its variants such as they are. So is there life after democracy? Attempts to answer this question often turn into a comparison of different systems of governance and end with a somewhat prickly combative defense of democracy. It's flawed, we say, it isn't perfect, but it's better than everything else that's on offer. Inevitably, someone in the room will say, Afghanistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, is that what you would prefer? Whether democracy should be the utopia that all developing societies aspire to is a separate question altogether. I think it should. The early idealistic phase can be quite heady. The question about life after democracy is addressed to those of us who already live in democracies or in countries that pretend to be democracies. It isn't meant to suggest that we lapse into older, discredited models of totalitarian, authoritarian governance. It's meant to suggest that the system of representative democracy, too much representation and too little democracy, needs some structural adjustment. The question here really is, what have we done to democracy? What have we turned it into? What happens once democracy has been used up, when it has been hollowed out and emptied of meaning? What happens when each of its institutions has metastasized into something dangerous? What happens now that democracy and the free market have fused into a single predatory organism with a thin, constricted imagination that revolves almost entirely around the idea of maximizing profit? Is it possible to reverse this process? Can something that has mutated go back to being what it used to be? What we need today for the sake of the survival of this planet is long-term vision. Can governments whose very survival depends on immediate, extractive, short-term gain provide this? Could it be that democracy, the sacred answer to our short-term hopes and prayers, the protector of our individual freedoms and nurturer of our avaricious dreams, will turn out to be the end game for the human race? Could it be that democracy is such a hit with modern humans precisely because it mirrors our greatest folly, our nearsightedness, our inability to live entirely in the present like most animals do, combined with our inability to see very far into the future, makes us strange in-between creatures, neither beast nor prophet. Our amazing intelligence seems to have outstripped our instinct for survival. We plunder the earth hoping that accumulating material surplus will make up for the profound, unfathomable thing that we have lost. And actually, in some ways, the cost of human civilization has been quite fathomable. According to Derrick Jensen, author of Endgame, 97% of the Earth's native forests have been destroyed. 98% of native grasslands have been destroyed. There's 10 times as much plastic as there is phytoplankton in the ocean. 90% of the big fish in the sea have been wiped out. Amphibian populations are collapsing. Migratory and songbird populations are under threat. And 200 species of insects and animals are driven to extinction every day. These costs must be laid at the doorstep of modern civilization. Today, capitalism is the way civilization aspires to organize itself economically, and democracy is the model of choice for civilized political organization. And these aspirations are what we need to think about carefully.